Oh, that's the Sheffield Wednesday we all love and know. Welcome back. Normal
Uh,
service resumed. It's where owls walk. Welcome back, Matt, Glyn, and Andrew's having camera problems. We can't see him. That's more probably our advantage than anyone else's. But welcome, Andrew. Are you there? You can hear us good?
yes, I'm here, loud and clear. The Invisible Man this week, but not a happy
Fantastic.
bunny after the result on Sunday, obviously.
No worries. We won't accuse you of hiding away. Don't worry. Thanks for joining us on the Hours Walk. Today on this programme, we are obviously going to review that disappointing result from the Stadium of Light. We're also going to talk about the next fixture, which is a big one. It's Leeds at home, the one that Wednesday fans look for when the fixtures come out. And Sheffield, we're also going to review central defenders and ask you whether you've got enough, too many, and whether any more signings need to be made following that disastrous result at Sunderland. And let's start there, shall we, at the Stadium of Light. Glyn, we'll start with you this week, if that's okay. I joked about normal service resumed, but actually, since Danny Rose come in, those sort of performances haven't been a Wednesday-like performance. Was that just a bad day at the office? Can we move on, or is there more to be worried about?
I think 4-5 minutes in, we looked okay, and then I don't know what it was. The ground just seemed to turn into treacle. Really, nothing. The passes were shy. The bounce of the ball just didn't fall our way. It bounced off a player and go out for a throw in. It just seemed to turn. As you just mentioned, the Danny Rowe way, we either win or we get beat, and we get beat well. I've seen a lot of noise on social media about were the tactics wrong, were the team wrong. How can you start with a team that's won the week before 4-0, and make 4 or 5 changes? It's ridiculous, really. If we'd have gone 1-1 or 2-2, it'd have been a different story, wouldn't it? But I don't know what happened. Nothing clicked. We didn't turn up. We didn't start well. It just really wasn't our day, and it was strange because on the coin flip, even the coin flip before it kicked off, you saw Bannon's face. He lost the coin flip with the referee, and the kind of upset on his face. He likes to win everything, doesn't he, Bannon? And I don't know. We just didn't get off the mark at all on Sunday, not at all.
Andrew, there was some individual picked out. Windass did not escape criticism. Do you feel that? I mean, you're already 1-0 down before I think his first error. Do you feel that it was individual errors on the day, or do you think this is the whole team just didn't perform?
Well, we started off, as Glenn says, the fact that we bossed it to begin with. We had our tails up. We went in there sort of full of ourselves, I think, for the first 10 minutes, really. But then they got that goal, which came from slack defending. I don't know why somebody left somebody loose. And then within 4 minutes, it was Windass tried the Hollywood flick, which didn't work whatsoever, sadly. And left for the second goal. So 2-0 down within 15 minutes. You're chasing the game. So it's easy to sort of blame individual players. Well, Windass didn't have one of his better games. He knows that himself. But I'm not going to hold anything against him because he's done so much for us in the past. But the team as a whole, obviously, then chased them the game. The likes of Ingleson and Valerie certainly nowhere near the performance they put in the previous week against Plymouth. Because it's sort of like a knock-on effect. Everybody was affected. Barry Bannon as well wasn't able to dominate the midfield the way he did previous week. But obviously Sunderland are better opposition than Plymouth. But as I said, Plymouth are no mugs. They almost beat Hull Saturday. They are going to win games, I've said to you. So I wouldn't undervalue our performance against them either. But this is just one game. We've lost, fair enough, 4-0. The scoreline doesn't look good. But I wouldn't panic about it. I'm not going to panic about it. And I'm going to say it's a defeat away from home. So a team I've said to you will be in the top 6 this season. And I'm confident about that.
Mm-hmm. Matt, I can tell by your face that this is a result which didn't sit well with you. Some were saying, obviously, Labrie is a new coach. It's his first home game. Well, hasn't had time, hasn't got lots of video evidence to study on this one. And that's what he likes to do with his coaches, is do lots of research. Was this just go back to the first question? Was this a bad day at the office? Can we chalk it off?
I think potentially, yeah. I think I mean, what we've learned in the first 2 games about Sheffield Wednesday is absolutely nothing, because we've gone from the sublime to the absolute ridiculous. I think Danny came out in his post-match press conference and said some really interesting comments about players not necessarily sticking to the game plan, in terms of they'd recognised that Sunderland wanted to press and wanted to press high up the pitch with the young attackers, and actually the way to beat that press is to flip the ball into the corners and get it into the wingers rather than playing it into that 6 position, which was either filled by Bannon, Ingleson or Windass. First 10 minutes, I think, played around that, and there was a lot of one touch, but it still wasn't as slick as it was the previous week. After that, I mean, I think Glyn's mentioned it before, we have a habit of, when we concede goals in games away from home in particular, when we concede goals away from home, it's not just 1, it's 2, 3, 4, we can rattle off, we can sit here and say Sunderland, Ipswich, Huddersfield, Southampton, Millwall at home, all under Danny Roll, and these have all been 4 or more losses. I would suggest that potentially points to a player issue rather than a managerial issue, just from the perspective of there has to be some ownership that's taken on the pitch by the players to actually stem the tide, rather than a coaching perspective.
Okay. Doesn't suppose help that Leeds are next. We'll come on to them in a second, Glyn. But would you forget it's Leeds next, would you make any changes to that starting 11 based on what you watched on Sunday? And if so, who?
I'd certainly start Ugbo, and if I'm honest, I mean, I don't know how Windass didn't get in team at week with three assists this week, to be honest. But I'd certainly start Ugbo. He's goal hungry. Is just signed. He wants to get going. I think a good start for EK Ugbo would do well. Just going back to Matt's point, I'm not swerving your question mark whatsoever, but just going back to Matt's point there. One thing I have learned about the Sheffield Wednesday over the last 2 games, and it kind of made me reflect a little bit on last season as well. We are missing the kind of venom, the player that can smash your Jack Clark into row C. I understand Danny's style of play. He wants to be fair. He wants to be, he wants to play the game. He wants to win, and he wants to win properly. But when you've got players like Jack Clark that are turning you inside out, sometimes you need that Sam Hutchinson style-esque of ramming your player down, making your presence known, and that's what I learned yesterday, definitely of the Sheffield Wednesday of present.
Okay. Before we have a look at some social media takes, Andrew, did we learn anything about Wednesday from the whole game?
The whole? Well, it was a nice win. Obviously, it was a double, 2 goals there, which were beauties for a goal scorer there. Charlie is making his debut for us there. He didn't get... he got a good lucky break with the second goal, obviously, with the goalkeeper letting just go straight through to him. But we're in the hat next round. I said, let's progress. Grimsby away, that's winnable. So we've got to keep going in that tournament, as far as I'm concerned. But we've just got to try and make winning a habit. But at the start of this season, I said now, and my policy, I always play the average policy. 2 points per game is what we're looking for. First 5 matches, I want to see 10 points. We've got 3 so far. I want to see 7 in the next 3. That means Leeds away. Leeds at home, Millwall away, and QPR at home. And those 7 points are doable.
Okay. Let's have a look at some takes on the game and see if any of you agree with what social media was saying. Matt John says, we've also gone the last 3 full seasons now without a decreeable improvement in our set pieces, particularly corners, which are atrocious. Do any of the senior players actually practice corners and free kicks in training? Who is actually the best corner taker in the youth setup? Something I haven't noticed, but obviously you watch Wednesday in and out, and I did watch the game on Sunday, and then I did think even before I saw this that, crikey, you're missing a decent set piece taker. Would you agree with this?
Oh, I can't believe you've said that, Mark. That was good for us on Sunday. We beat the first man more than once. The honest answer is we have been, as a club, we have been way over-reliant on Barry Bannon as a whole. one of the things that he is not is a dead ball specialist. His delivery into the box in open play is fantastic. His delivery into the box and his range of passing from set pieces leaves a lot to be desired. We have trialled a number of different people. Last season it was Will Vokes, Josh Windass when fit, Bannon. This season in our home game we trialled Svante Ingelsson, we tried Josh Windass, we tried Bannon. Honest answer is it has been better this year, but it is a huge point and a glaring misstep in terms of, if you look at some of the teams who are perhaps what you would describe as more the surprise packages in the Championship every year, it seems to be that they are always in and around top of set piece stats and goals from set pieces. We saw yesterday exactly what a good delivery and a well-worked set piece into the box can get you with that first goal from, and it was a outstanding ball from Patrick Roberts, and the run from Dennis Sirkin is great with a header. I would argue we probably haven't seen that level of, and it's not for want of trying, that level of tactical ability from a set piece and that quality from a set piece in a good number of seasons. Now, that is also caveated by saying, against Plymouth, we did try a number of different set piece routines, not just loading the ball into the box. But yes, it is an area which is a complete and utter blind spot and something we need to get better at for sure.
Okay. Andrew, the second one talks about the goals, as I think we've already highlighted, but he talks about the need for midfielders. Let's get some more midfielders in, please. Is that the area which, if you were buying in the next 2 weeks, you would focus on?
Well, I think Barry Bannon obviously has to come under a bit of pressure for his place, because he's trying to perform it each week, but we can't rely on him all the time. There's been a lot of heavy sort of reliability on Barry to deliver. And we've got Ingelsson in there as well, and at least we've got a quality player there, I'm sure, who can still do the business for us this season. But yeah, we're going to need someone else there who's reliable, who's going to be consistent. And as Matt says, we need somebody, a dead ball specialist, somebody let's bring back the days of Chris Waddle, Tommy Craig. I've seen some great dead ball specialists at Hillsborough Wednesday who can fire in free kicks from a distance. I haven't seen that happen for us for a long time now. I'm trying to remember the last guy to do it. Probably Windass, strange enough. Maybe you got one like that. But no, we do need to get quality midfielders in to help our push this season. It's got to be done.
The last one there, Glyn, was retire the black kit. I quite like this all black, but people want it gone. Saying it's a bad omen.
We're all in black today. We're all mourning.
You are. I'm not.
Mourning.
I'm not. Blue, white stripes.
You're in black to us, mate. You're in black to us. But no, I don't. I love the kit. To be honest, I wasn't lucky enough to. We haven't all got part-time jobs like Matt. But no, I love the kit. I don't think the kit defines the play whatsoever.
I think it's all very tongue-in-cheek, isn't it?
It wasn't the right place to wear it though, against the Black Cats. We were the wrong venue.
All right, last week we chatted to you about goalkeepers. You all told us how great Beadle was. Less said about that, the better. For now, let's talk about central defenders. And let's get your views on where you sit in terms of strength and depth here. Lots of clubs, when I've spoken to them, are desperate for central defenders. I suspect, Matt, that this is an area that Wednesday are okay in.
Okay, in terms of the depth, I would suggest that there's not a huge drop-off between our starting centre-back pairing at the moment of Deschamps Bernard and Dominic Iorfa, who Deschamps Bernard, incidentally, I know for those who watched the game yesterday, he had his worst game in a Sheffield Wednesday shirt yesterday by a country mile. He is, I would argue, a undiscovered gem in the Championship at the minute, and I would imagine over the course of the season people get to be a bit more familiar with him. I know he's bounced around a lot of EFL clubs, Hull and Portsmouth, just to name a few. Dominic Iorfa, fastest man in Yorkshire, everybody knows. He's a quality defender when fit. After that, last season we were probably looking at Bambo Diaby being our next in line. I would argue that Akin Famewo has jumped that queue. The problem with Akin Famewo, similar to Dominic Iorfa, is he simply can't stay fit. It's not for lack of trying. He just simply isn't fit enough. He was a player who I think all Wednesday fans were looking forward to seeing this season because his pre-season has been so strong. After that, Bambo Diaby will have 2 good games, 3 or 4 bad ones, and makes one real cardinal sin error per game. Michael Ehekwa is a very competent top-end League One, bottom-end Championship defender, but again, it's good cover. So I would argue, yes, it is an area of strength, but I'm not going to say in the next for 10, 11 days, however long's left of the window. Would I turn one down if there was a hot youth prospect who was made available to us on loan? Of course, I wouldn't know.
Okay. And then Andrew and Glyn, I'll let you both debate this together. Which two are the strongest pairing? I know that there's perhaps individuals in there which are strong, but in terms of the understanding, do you expect in 2 months' time, when we're talking review matches, to have to be the two that Danny goes with regularly?
I think Matt summed it up well there. He sort of assessed them in the right order, and I would say that Bernard and Ilf are probably the best two to go with currently, but the backup is all right. But again, it's good to get someone in to pressurise the positions there, and a fresh face wouldn't hurt. Just get someone in who's established, who can deliver, and a leader. We need a leader at the back too. Somebody's going to be speaking up to make sure that the players around them are following instructions and working together as a unit. That's crucial.
Glyn?
Yeah, but like I said, podcast one, pre-season we look defensively sound, and I trust in the back line. I trust in the process. Bambo has a mistake in him, and he is a world. He looks world class, and then all of a sudden he looks League Two class. And that's what Danny Roll has got to drive out of him. But Dominikov, I love him to pieces, although he was terrorised by Jack Clark this week. I think he'll still be having nightmares of him running at him. But I agree, completely agree with what the other two guys have said completely.
Okay, before we talk about Leeds in a second, before we do that, I'm going to ask you in the comments, who are the best pairing of central defenders that have played for Wednesday in all time? Think back to all the time you've been watching Wednesday. We'll ask these three for their opinions on that in a second. But comment below. Not the best individual central defenders. We probably all know who that would be. But the best pairing. Who had the best understanding? I'm sure Andrew can dig deep into his
I can go back to
history. I'm sure you'll go back a long way. Yeah. We'll ask you for it in a minute. Let's talk about Leeds first, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Matt, you are playing a threadbare Leeds squad. The Leeds fans are in disarray at the moment. There's calls for the manager to go. They aren't happy. They've lost three of their best players. Isn't this the best possible opportunity for Wednesday to put one over on your Yorkshire rivals?
Yeah, what you've just said, Mark, is absolute music to every Sheffield Wednesday fan's ears. It's normally us in turmoil and then being okay over the past couple of seasons. Ultimately, I think it's almost a perfect bounce back game for us because there is no shirking of players. Players will be fired up for the game because, Hillsborough it'll be again, a relatively, if not close to full house on Friday night. It's under the lights on Sky. I know last time that we played Leeds on a Friday, it didn't obviously end particularly positive for us. However, saying that, of that front three, Leeds have lost two of them. Let's hope Willie Nonto packs his bags this week as well. Ultimately, I think it is the right time to play Leeds. It is the right time for the Sheffield Wednesday squad from the perspective of Danny demands a reaction. And, we have cited at the top of the show about all of the drubbings that we've received under Danny. Thing that I didn't caveat that with is the fact that after that, we have always seen a reaction from this squad. I would suggest that, having watched parts of the Leeds game, Leeds West Brom game the other day, I would feel more confident being a Sheffield Wednesday fan going into Friday night rather than a Leeds fan. But saying that, as you've said, it's a Yorkshire derby, so that may be the catalyst to kind of spur them into action as well.
Okay, Glyn, how do you see this one going?
Like Matt says, it's a Yorkshire derby, so form. 2 games of it kind of goes out the window, doesn't it, for a Yorkshire derby? But where I feel as though we're in a better position, and that's exactly what we need to see. We need to see a full reaction to being defeated in such a manner. Let's make Hillsborough our fortress. Don't let Leeds knock on the door. Although I did watch Leeds' first game on the TV, I think they had 38 shots or something ridiculous. They were on form. So Yeah, ship all their players out, let them play the second 11, and fingers crossed we get a 3-4-1 result. I'm praying that we beat Leeds.
I think stick 2 men on Noto and you'll stop them, to be honest, because that's where all their traffic is coming down at the moment. Okay, Andrew, you can have the score prediction for us this one.
Well, it's going to be a tight match. Put it this way: Wednesday and Leeds this century met each other 22 times. They're leading 8-7 and 7 draws. There's hardly anything in it when we play each other. I can see reverse score lines. Last season we won at Sunderland. We lost at Sunderland this season. Last season we lost at home to Leeds. This Friday we're going to beat them. Simple as that. We're going to beat them. But I'm not going to go for an easy win. I'm going to take a 1-0 win. I'm going to think it's going to be a scrappy game. I don't care how we beat them, but the 3 points are all that matters. 1-0, I think we'll just nail it. I don't think they've got a goal scorer in their team, luckily. So as long as we snuff them out, get a goal, and then stifle the game. Simple as that.
Okay. I think they've still got a few of them stick it in the net. But I do take your point. All right, thank you very much. Then finally, the best pairing of central defenders to play for Wednesday ever were, with brevity, please, Matt.
I'll give you a modern day one because I know Andrew will delve deep into his bag of history. The best modern day centre back pairing that's played for Sheffield Wednesday is Tom Lees and Glenn Loovens.
Oh, shout.
Glenn?
That's a shout. Matt's absolutely stole my thunder there. But
okay.
I'm
with
thinking
brevity.
back to the archives. I'm trying to go back. But was Roland Nielsen a central defender? I think it was a right back, wasn't he?
Right back, Glenn. Number 2.
But, Viv Anderson, MBE. That's the pairing the first kind of pairing that springs to mind to me. Viv Anderson and Roland Nielsen for sure. But Matt absolutely nailed my pairing there.
Yeah, Roland Nielsen was right back. Yeah, I think.
Okay, Andrew, nail this out the park. Hit this out the park then for us.
Okay, well, it's definitely without a shadow of doubt because it's actually proven the vote that they had in the history of football for Wednesday. The 2 highest rated central defenders in the vote were Peter Swan and Des Walker. Now, they both played in different eras. So the pairing I'm going to match up is Peter Swan with Jerry Young in the 60s. They were the perfect central defence for Wednesday. And then Des Walker played with Nigel Pearson, of course, in the 90s. So they'd be the best pairing since.
Okay. And if you can beat that, comment below. Thank you very much, all of you. Enjoy the Leeds game. I'm looking forward to this one. It's a Friday night. Love these Friday night viewings at Sky Dish Up. This is going to be a corker. Sheffield Wednesday against Leeds. Next week, we will review it all here. Thank you very much, all of you. Enjoyed the game this weekend.